Bovine samarotrophy. Bovine samarotrophy, often referred to as BST, an hormone naturally produced by a cow's pituitary gland using recombinant DNA technology. Scientists have discovered a way to synthesize an artificial form of this hormone. The product of this produce known as combined BST or RBST is widely used by American dairy farmers to increase the milk production of their cows. Although the use of RBST has been banned in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and all countries in the European Union. The USA Food and Drug Administration (FDA) ruled in 1993 that this was not harmful and could be injected into cows to improve their milk production. In the United States, the debate continues over whether all and not RBST is truly safe for humans and animals. While many claim that the hormone is not only safe but also provides important economic and environmental benefits for farmers and consumers, a significant contingent of skeptics provides a growing market for dairy production labeled RBST free, marketing under the name Postlac RBST works by artificially extending the length of Typetown lactate cause produced milk. Proponents of the growth hormone claim that cows that have not been treated with Postulac produce an average of 8 gallons of milk per day, whereas Postulac treated cows usually produce 9 gallons per day. Supporters also a claim that post-lag makes the cow's digestive system more efficient according to Monsanto, the company that manufactures post-lag dairy farms that inject their cows with RBST can essentially get 7 cows worth of milk for 6, thus reducing the amount of food where an alien space required to raise the cows. Monsanto estimates that over the course of a year, RBST cows ate more than 3 billion pounds left food than untreated cows because they believe that policy allow for more efficient meat production. Farmers who treat their cows with RBST claim that they save money and that these savings are passed on to the consumers. In addition to economic advantage, Monsanto also estimates that the use of fossil benefits the environment. The company claims that for every million cows treated with RBST year 6 billion gallons of water are conserved. Additionally, Monsanto argues that manure production is discouraged by about 3.6 million tons, reducing the chance of runoff getting into waterways and groundwater. The result of a 2008 study even suggests that the use of fossil causes a reduction in greenhouse gases. The basis for such a claim is that GST bacteria lives in cows' stomach and cause them to release methane, a gas that significantly contributes to global warming. In farmers can use for fewer cows though produce the same amount of milk, the low gas, then there will be a reduction in the cow population, thus reduction in global warming. The study found that every a million cows treated with RBST in 1 year, greenhouse gas emissions are lowered by 30,000 metric tons, or to coach the spinning is slightly different terms if US farmer inject their dairy cows with bovine growth hormone E would take use 843,000 cows that produce the same amount of milk as 1 million untreated animals, potentially reducing the global warming impact by the equivalent of uh, 4,000 no, 400,000 car when one hears that the use of RBST has been approved by the FDA that is has economic benefits for farmers and consumers and that it benefits the environment. It can be hard to understand why so many people are opposed to drinking milk from cows that have been injected with RBST. Yet skeptics about these claims might well be in order. Many critics have noted that Monsanto has best interest in addressing the benefits of fossil since it is the company that manufactures it, what it and stands to profit from it with widespread use. Proponents of RBST respond to these criticisms by pointing out that the 2008 study suggestion Postulac has environment benefits was led by scientists at Cornell, but a later digging uncovers the fact that the study was conducted by a scientist, Robert Kennedy, who is also the REST technical project manager for Monsanto. In addition, the lead scientist, nutritional biochemist Dale Bellmore of Cornell University has been a paid consultant for Monsanto since the 1980s. Though he declined to disclose how much the company has paid in everyday years. These conflicts in interest have led people to ask how trustworthy the results of the study actually are. In addition, these conflicts of interest, critics of the recent study change that it was based on a false promise that there is an increase in feed efficiency. The study assumes that possibly increases the ability of individual cows to produce more milk from the same amount of feed, but the FDA has ruled that this is not actually the case. And if the FDA ruling suggests that the use of fully fossil does not necessarily increase the efficiency of milk production. What does this simply about the total economic benefits for farmers and consumers? So perhaps the evidence claiming that RBST benefits the environment and the economy is not so conclusive after all. But the heart of the debate is not whether whether the use of RBST has environmental or economic benefits, but whether there are valid health risks associated with turning con with it. The National Institute of Health has concluded that milk from RBST treated cows is essentially the same of that of untreated cows, and the FDA has concluded that this has no legal basis to require special labeling of food products derived from RBST treated cows. However, the FDA did find evidence in submitted clinical trials that RBST treated cows have significantly increased incidence of meningitis and other infection that is treated with antibiotics. This raises concern that antibiotic treatments for mastia could lead to increased antibiotic residues in milk and the immune resistance of bacteria to the during. Furthermore, some skeptics argue that the FDA is a notoriously overworked worker, underserved organization without high credibility among consumer. For these non-beliefs, the FDA stamp of approval means very later. Like so many more controversies, the dilemma over bovine growth hormone stems not from of their of information on the part of consumers who seem relatively well informed, but from a fundamental difference in people's underlying beliefs. Depending who depending on whether a person believes that reduced farm costs will translate to reduced price for consumers, the argument about post-tax economic benefits can be either convincing or suspect, and depending on whether or not a person believes that a scientist's corporate affiliation contain his or her research, the results of a study can be either trusted or dismissed, depending on a, whether a person views to FDA as a reliable governmental agency or or as an organization with a poor track record for consumer advocate of the FDA's approval can be either noteworthy or meaningless. Although there is plenty of information about RBST available, the one thing missing from the debate is the highly valued test of time may be that just as with cigarettes or radiation, we cannot know the true health risks of this practice for years to come. The primary purpose of the passage is to see examine both sides of the controversy over RBSD, which of the following statement from the passage reveals the author's bias. It may be that use with cigarettes or ration, we cannot know the true health risks of this practice for years to come. According to the passage supporter, argue that post-lag is beneficial to the environment because one farmer who use post-lag recover natural resources to maintain their cows, two dairy farms that implement post-lag contributes less to global warming, three cows raised with a post-lag produce less waste. See 1 and 2 only. The author apparently believes that there are valid reasons to question the advertised benefits of post-lag. In paragraph 4, the author mentioned that Roger Cady and David Bowman are affiliated with Monsanto in order to b. Highlight a potential conflict of interest. The author concludes the passage by contextualizing the debate over RBST within the realm of modern life, where people have plenty of information but do not necessarily know or agree on the truth. As you said in the final paragraph, which is the best synonym for the hurt, the deficiency. According to the author, the most important aspect of the debate over REST is the A health risk. Do you believe postal show continues to be legal in the United States? Why is why or why not support you argument using evidence from the passage? Uh, Postal show views it constantly because its long-term health risks are still unknown, and there are concerns about bias in research.